Hey guys, it's LOL underscore Rybun or Rybun here, and today I'm going to be talking to you about something that some of you may be finding this video off of, and that is luck. Luck is a stat that is used a lot in Here's a Hammerwatch. You'll see it a lot in builds and people's items that they like. You'll see a really good reaction for anything related to luck. And as a newer player, I found this very confusing. But after I started making videos about Here's a Hammerwatch, I didn't think about it as a video to make a video to make at all. And so today, the purpose of this video is to explain the luck stat, what it does, and show you in game an example of how good it is and why people like it so much. For this video, I'm going to be using the Here's of Hammerwatch wiki page for references. They do a very good job of providing information to you about stuff regarding the game. Down here in the mechanics section of the navigator, if you go to combat, you can find the section on luck. And luck is a stat in Here's a Hammerwatch that can be acquired by these means down here. You've got the safe bet. It's not your lucky day, which actually takes away luck. So does the safe bet. It's your lucky day, which gives you luck. As well as fortuitous events, lucky hat, lucky horseshoe, and lucky charm, which can all be enhanced to give double what they display here. So 2, 4, and 8 respectively. But either way, these are the ways that you can get luck, and Here's the Hammerwatch. The most important part of this wiki that clarifies a lot of stuff is the graph over here. They also provide the formula in which luck is calculated, but for a lot of people that are more visual or don't want to muck around with the formula, you can very easily see a fair range of percentages and luck values over here to see where those percentages lie after being modified by luck. We'll dissect this picture real quick, just so you guys can maybe understand it more if you don't quite understand it at a baseline. First of all, the two axes are luck on this side, ranging from -5 to 21, and chance on the top. These are just percentage chances and where they end up after taking that luck into account. So you've got 1, 2.5, 5, 7.5, 10, 12.5, 15, 20, 25, 30, and 50%. So the reason you'll see big jumps between this number in the second to last column and the last column is because there's a big jump in the percentage, more so than the big jump in, or more so than anything. So the other thing to note is that this -1 to -5, these are all negative. You'll see they're all below the percentages up here. There's also a nice little divide in the graph here, or graph, whatever you want to call it. And then you've got a 0 row, which just shows you again, with 0 luck, your percentages are exactly as they come. So we'll talk really quickly about negative luck and how that affects you. I believe the reason this goes to -5 is I think it was made before the fountain buff was added for -2 luck, and as far as I know, it still doesn't actually take away the luck. Could be wrong on that. Don't quote me on that. I haven't checked explicitly. However, as far as I know, the worst luck you can get is still -5. Could be -7. We'll cover these values really quickly. You can see that you lose roughly 30-ish% of your 1% on the 1% down to 0.71%, which is, it's a pretty big loss. However, because you only have 1%, you can't really appreciate it that much, because the difference between 0.71 and 1% chance in terms of happening, I mean, it's actually pretty significant, right? Like I said, it's a 30% decrease. However, you're not going to feel like it's that much because they're both very small numbers. If you look over here at 50, you'll notice the change is a lot more significant than you think. You can go from 50% all the way down to 38.75%, which is a whopping 11.25% decrease. That's pretty huge and very significant when considering a run's ability to crit or evade. You know, some classes like the Thief and Ranger, their method of survival is evasion. They don't have blocks and stuff like that. So if you get negative luck on those classes, you're very well throwing their chance of survival in the toilet. On the other hand, though, you'll see that as you go up in luck, the effect it has on percentages gets to be absolutely ridiculous. With 1%, with 21 luck going all the way to 4.22%, which means it's being multiplied by 4.22. Similarly, with 50%, you'll see a huge jump in number. Now, it's not 4.22 times because that wouldn't make sense. You'd end up with more than 200% luck, and you can't be above 100% of anything. So this one calmly approaches towards 100% at a mere 94.88%, meaning you only have a 5.22 chance, or sorry, 5.12 chance, or 112% chance of getting hit if this was your evasion, or not critting if this was your crit chance, etc. ... You get the point. Luck is a very powerful stat that can have an immense amount of effect on your runs. You can see how it affects all the percentages differently, but in general, it's going to be a very, very huge increase that'll make significant impacts on your run. For another reference point, let's look at 10%. All the way down here at the bottom, you get to 36.34%. That is a huge increase in chance. Another point of reference, Frenetic Eruption, has a 5% chance when critting to trigger combo. Well, what if you have 21 luck? You'll end up at 19.74% when critting anyways. Well, if your crit's at 50%, you're pretty much at a 19.74% chance every auto attack or primary attack of triggering combo. That is why luck is such a powerful stat. The sheer amount of influence it can hold over a run is absolutely insane. Also, ignore this Epic Games Launcher notification that's been on screen this entire time. So we'll real quickly dive into a game of Heroes of Hammerwatch and demonstrate to you the effects of luck by attacking a guard 10 times. It's not going to be completely scientific. However, you will see the correlation roughly between luck and crit chance and how they work together to make you do a significant higher portion of damage. Before we get into this, full disclosure, yet again, this is my modded profile that I use for videos like these that require very specific things, such as giving myself items. I am on one of the characters I used for, I believe, a previous video when testing out the effects of statues, and I do currently have those statues on at their level 150. So you'll see my numbers are not all that ridiculous. Well, that's because I guess they're not really coming into play here. However, I did bump up my crit chance to a solid 10%, and we should be able to see that within 10 autos, or primaries, excuse me, we should see at least one crit. So here we go. There you go. We got one crit, 10 autos. Now that's not exactly how percentages work. It's not guaranteed to give you that exact amount, but that's roughly what we expected with the stats we have on hand. Now in a second here, I'll be giving myself luck items piece by piece, and we'll see their effects on my crit chance in a second here. We now have in our hands the Lucky Charm, which boosts our luck by 2. So now we have 2 luck with 10%, and as per what the chart says, we're expecting a pretty minute change to our luck here, saying that we should have about a rough 11-ish% chance of critting here. Now, hopefully we crit at least once, but I'd love to see us crit twice to prove the point, but we'll see what happens. So here we go. Well, you see there we got pretty lucky. We crit 3 times out of the 10. I believe I only hit 10. That may have been 11 potentially, but we did crit the third time before the 11th presumably. So we did see an increase in our crits there. Now, of course, this is a small sample size. Yet again, please do not take this as like, oh wow, it's going to triple my crit chance if I just get one lucky charm. That's not the case. It's going to increase it. And the best way of showing this is increasing my luck gradually and showing you guys the results. So in a future check in a second here, we may actually lose some crit potential, but that's just because the sample size is very small. Now we have the lucky horseshoe. We're sitting at 6 luck, and we're expecting a little bit below a 15% chance with this current luck. So we're hoping for, really yet again, a hopeful 2, more hopeful than last time, but a hopeful 2 crits on this guy. And just like I said, crit chance is a wonderful thing. We got 0 crits, resting at a rough 14-ish%, somewhere in the realm of 14 to 15% chance of critting this dummy. Well, that looks a lot worse than our last check, but realistically, that's just how this works. This is our first huge increase with Lucky Hat now in our arsenal. We are at 14 luck, which brings our 10% chance to almost a 25% chance. So we're hoping for at least 2, hopefully 3 crits within these attacks that are about to happen. So we'll see what happens in a second here. And of course, we only crit once. Now, of course, our expected was 2.5, which is really 2 or 3. We only got 1, but that's just how sample size works. I'm going to see if I can figure out how to give myself the lucky, the fortuitous events, or fortuitous. I think it's fortuitous. Could be wrong, but we're going to get that going. That'll give us another 5 luck, and we'll be resting at the 21 you see in the chart. And then we'll do some other stuff like mucking around with our crit chance and show you guys really how powerful this is. Unfortunately, I cannot find a way to give myself that buff. So for the rest of the video, we will be testing things at 14 luck. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to bump up our crit chance. So we're going to take this and we're going to actually max it out at 12.5%. And I'll go consult the chart. So essentially, the base crit chance with maxed out blacksmith, and that is it. With 14 luck comes out to a little shy of 30%. So we're expecting to crit 3 times the next 10 autos, primary attacks. Hopefully, we'll see. And of course, we only crit once again. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to start adding crit items to our inventory. So a famous combination is Lucky Hat and Heartseeker. As you know, Heartseeker adds quite a lot of crit chance here. So if we add it to our inventory like so, we now have a 23.4% crit chance, which translates to somewhere in the realm of 45 to a little over 50% chance to crit. So let's see what adding this one item does to our build here. We're expecting roughly 5 crits out of 10, so we got 4. That's close enough, and it's pretty good. Well, what happens if you attune this? You'll know that attuning Heartseeker and Lucky Hat is a primary build type deal, and it's something a lot of people do. We end up at 33% crit chance, which means we have more than a 60% chance to crit now. So we should be expecting at least 6 crits on the next 10 attacks on this dummy here. We got 6. We did get 6. It was looking doubtful, but we only didn't crit 4 times. So we got 6. Obviously, you can see the effect, and our crit chance has obviously grown with just one item because of luck. You would not expect us to crit 6 times on 33%, but if I told you I had roughly 60%, it would be believable. So, taking that into account, let's add more crit items to the mix, such as the Assassin's Dagger, which I'm hoping I get the item ID right with Assassin's Dagger. Nope, give me a second. I seem to have typoed because it is actually what I thought it was. I have Assassin's Dagger. We're sitting at a rough 38% chance. There is nothing in the chart for this, but we're expecting it to be slightly over 60. So hopefully we see around 7 crits this time. Sorry, that was 12 attacks. I believe we only missed 3 times in terms of crits on the first 10. And so that means we really did crit roughly 70% of the time. As you all know, we can always attune things. And now we're at 42.7% crit. Well, so where are we at crit-wise? Honestly, I'm not too sure. But we are getting close to the 50. And the 50 at 43% gives you roughly 83%. So we're approaching 83% crits. So hopefully we can crit 8 times now. Hopefully, we'll see. And that was a whopping 9 crits. Now you'll see if I just let this thing attack for quite some time, we are critting very, very often. And you would think this is crazy at 42% crit, but as we've seen, this right here is a very, very powerful stat. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I hope it enlightened you a little bit about how luck works. It's a very, I think, not underrated, but a stat that goes unnoticed for newer players. I think a lot of times it can be confusing not knowing how it works. And the chart is a huge hulking thing to look at, so I thought maybe this visual example would help a little bit more with that. Our data did turn out to be a bit strange, but we did get to see the effects of luck, especially when your crit chance gets higher. It's absolutely massive. Luck is a super important stat to take advantage of in this game, and it'll really help you. Imagine if you had evasion chance this high, and we evaded how often you just saw us evade. It's something that really does power up your gameplay. I hope I've made it a little bit clearer to you, and if you have any questions about luck, please leave them down in the comments down below. I hope I did a decent job of explaining things, and if you would like to see any other videos like this one, or have any videos you'd like to request, please let me know anywhere down in the comments or whatever. Like the video, some means of letting me know that you guys like this stuff. Anywho, I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your continued support, and I really appreciate it. And if you want to, you can go check out my second channel where I post stuff that's either lightly edited or not edited at all. I'm mainly posting story games there, or anything else that may fall under some sort of umbrella that I put on that channel. The posting there is inconsistent. I'll let you know ahead of time. But I'm hoping that in the near future I can get it down so I can post fairly regularly on there. Anywho, yet again, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you guys' continued support, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.